You have $9 billion, that's $9,000 million missing in the last few years. It's alleged to be fraudulently stolen. They're sending money, the Somali community in Minnesota sending money, big money, overseas. They're contributing money, big money, to Democrat candidates and elected officials. The Democratic political machine in Minnesota has benefited from this criminal network of Somali immigrants who have systematically stolen billions of dollars of federal charitable money, essentially.
Guys, stop for a moment. Did you catch that number? $9,000 million. That's $9 billion of taxpayer money allegedly disappearing into thin air in Minnesota. What you're about to see is Representative Clay Higgins, Captain Clay himself, completely tearing apart the Minnesota Democrat machine. And this isn't just about sloppy accounting. He's pointing to what looks like a full-scale criminal operation running right under Governor Tim Walz's watch. We're talking about fake childcare centers with no children, taxpayer money allegedly being funneled overseas, and a political system that appears to target and punish whistleblowers who tried to expose the truth. And if you've ever wondered why certain politicians, like Ilhan Omar, push so aggressively for unchecked mass migration, this video might shed some uncomfortable light on that question. Because this is starting to look less like community building and more like turning an entire state into a fraud pipeline to fuel political power.
And Ms. Robbins, you're the chair of the Fraud Prevention Oversight Committee, is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Hudson and Ms. Rarick, you're members of that committee as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
All right, so you three collectively, America should clearly understand you have an excellent perspective what's going on inside Minnesota, in specifically regards to the fraud that we are investigating and discussing today. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we have a particular community, a Somali community in Minnesota that has stunning percentages are participating in government programs where they're drawing a lot of money, big money. This has been discussed and revealed and reported and is factual. You have a tremendous amount of criminal fraud taking place that one of my colleagues, the gentleman from the other side of the aisle, mentioned transparency. I would argue that from a regular American's perspective, it's quite transparent that something criminal is going on when you have billions of dollars disappearing into child care centers with no children in them, and you have a tremendous transfer of wealth into a relatively small immigrant community. You have $9 billion, that's $9,000 million missing in the last few years. It's alleged to be fraudulently stolen. They're sending money, the Somali community in Minnesota sending money, big money, overseas. They're contributing money, big money, to Democrat candidates and elected officials. The Democratic political machine in Minnesota has benefited from this criminal network of Somali immigrants who have systematically stolen billions of dollars of federal charitable money, essentially. The good lady, my colleague, clarified this is money designed for poor folk that need a hand up. And we generally want that to happen in America in an effective manner. So this is the scenario that we are looking into today. Have I summed it up fairly well, Ms. Robbins?
Yes, sir. And I would just like to add...
Before you add, Mr. Hudson, is this an effective summary, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you, Ms. Rarick.
Yes.
Thank you. So from the perspective of members of the Fraud Investigative Committee of the Minnesota State Legislature, we have a large criminal network with high percentages of participation in that criminal network from the Somali community in Minnesota. That community has tremendous influence within the political arena, specifically within the Democrat political arena in Minnesota. The Democrat political machine has been covering for this criminal network, and here we go to Governor Walz's involvement here, which is shocking to me, quite frankly, because I've been friendly with Governor Walz for many years. I served with him here. But can you discuss for me the governor's administration's involvement in intimidation and oppression and retaliation against whistleblowers? Ms. Robbins, have you had conversations with whistleblowers who have been treated like that by the Walz administration?
Yes, I have.
And what can you tell us about that? Without naming the person or revealing stuff that's secret, tell us how that retaliation would happen.
So it happens in a variety of ways. They are demoted or reassigned, or they are told that they could lose their job and then their house or their pension or their retirement benefits or not qualify for unemployment. So it's...
Well, that's very serious. That's very serious allegation. I would say that's criminal retaliation. Mr. Hudson and Ms. Rarick, have you seen similar?
I would defer to Representative Rarick.
Yes, so Representative Robbins and once in a while Representative Hudson have had multiple conversations with whistleblowers, and that is exactly what they said to us, especially in a face-to-face meeting in St. Paul. That is exactly
unbelievable.
what they said.
Mr. Chairman, my time has expired, but this leans into the criminal spectrum, sir. I yield.
Just, wow. You know how most committee hearings go. Endless lawyers, endless talking, and nothing ever happens. But Clay Higgins doesn't do boring. He does interrogation. Let's break down what we just witnessed, because the implications here should worry every single American. Higgins didn't sugarcoat anything. He flat out described what he believes is a criminal network operating inside Minnesota, tied to a specific immigrant community. And yes, the media will rush to smear him for saying, but they won't address the facts he laid out. Here's the reality. The data shows astonishing levels of government dependency concentrated within one community. And this is exactly where the policies pushed by politicians like Ilhan Omar lead. When you combine mass migration without assimilation with unlimited government welfare, you don't get compassion, you get chaos. Higgins makes it clear this isn't about helping people in need. This is about a massive transfer of wealth, billions of dollars, billions, allegedly being siphoned out, sent overseas, and then funneled back into U.S. politics to support Democrat candidates. Let that sink in. For years, Minnesota Democrats have pushed to bring in large numbers of Somali refugees. We were told it was about kindness and inclusion. But if Higgins is right, this looks far less like compassion and far more like a business model. Bring people in, plug them into government programs, drain the system, launder the money, donate it back to politicians. A self-sustaining cycle of corruption. Minneapolis, according to Higgins, has become a fraud zone. And then there's the detail that sounds almost unreal. Childcare centers with no children. Empty buildings billing taxpayers for services never provided. This is the infamous feeding our future scandal. Thousands of children on pay, millions of dollars in payments. And many of those kids, they never existed. You work hard, you pay your taxes, and that money allegedly gets sent to fake businesses that wire it overseas, while the politicians in charge look the other way. Then comes the most disturbing part. Higgins turns his focus to Governor Tim Walz and asks about retaliation against whistleblowers. And the response? It confirms everything. Lawmakers admit whistleblowers are being demoted, fired, and threatened with the loss of their pensions. That's not a government protecting the public, that's a mob protecting itself. If Walz knew this was happening, and his administration punished the people trying to expose it, this shouldn't end with resignation. It should end with investigations. Clay Higgins is one of the rare voices in Washington willing to say what others won't. He's connecting the dots between open borders, welfare abuse, and political corruption. Minnesota isn't just a scandal, it's a warning. If the country doesn't get serious about vetting, if we keep this open border, open checkbook mindset alive, every state could be next. Hats off to Representative Higgins for asking the hard questions. We need more of this. Now tell me in the comments, do you think Governor Walz was part of the cover-up, and what do you make of that $9 billion figure? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.